Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I'm live here, Jay. Hello, I'm not. Hello. Let me try this one. Here we go. Oh, that was you. I got enough? You want me to switch to this one?
I can hear it coming out of the speaker, so it's just kind of low.
I just want to make sure the folks remotely can hear me. Yes, sir. Just be careful now that we will blast everybody out of the back. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, I just want to mention a few procedural items. We are going to have 2 public hearings, then a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. And after the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees is when we'll have comments or questions from the public. During the 2 public hearings, we have questions only on the public hearings. During the regular resolution calendar, any questions on the regular resolutions. And at the end is general questions that haven't been addressed. So there's actually 4 parts to today's meeting that I wanted you to be aware of before the meeting began. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Clerk.
Public hearing, we're public hearing number 1. This public hearing is in person or can be done on Zoom using the link provided. Roll call, please.
Roll call.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yeah.
Trustee Thomas is excused. Trustee Grasso.
Here.
Trustee Wright.
Here.
Mayor Fair.
Here.
Right. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider proposal local law 3-2021 and local law to amend the code of the Village of Valley Stream, chapter 99 entitled zoning. The purpose of the proposed local law amends chapter 99 by adding the P parking zone as a permitted district within discretionary CA district.
Okay, as many of you may already be aware, the district has a the village has a CA district, which includes C1, C2, C3, and CX. This local law is to add P parking lots to that designation, the CA district designation as well. So it would include all of those. Further comments from the board? Comments from the public?
Mike Belfiore.
I don't know if that's on either.
Mike Belfiore. Okay. No?
It says it's on, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Well, can you hear me? What should I do? Okay, Mike Belfiore, 27 Du Bois Avenue, Valley Stream, New York. What's the reason for this expansion of the CA floating zone?
We currently have the CA as a floating zone, as you're well aware, and the village has already decided to consider expanding that to include parking lots.
Usually there's a reason associated with it, like the original law was to eliminate industrial use, which was
The
used
purpose
as
is
a
to
home farm.
include parking lots.
Oh, okay.
Very.
Well, look, just for the record, I have to say that my estimation of your use of the CA floating zone in this village is nothing more than a very transparent cover for spot zoning. We know that that is actually an illegal practice by the state laws. But like I said, that's my opinion. And by you continuing this use of the CA floating zone, you're actually making the rest of our zoning code useless, basically useless for all intents and purposes. Thank you.
I can guarantee you, we're not doing anything illegal. And thank you for calling us transparent. Further comments from the public? Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. Just do the best you can, so long as Julia can hear you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Villanueva. I'm a resident of Valley Stream. I live literally on West Valley Stream. That was
Turn around just a
a
little bit now, Jim. Oh, it's teeny. Sorry, most of this is due to the fact that we want to make sure that Zoom folks can hear. And normally in the room, we can project well enough, but we have to make sure
I don't think I got enough lip.
anyone remote can hear. I apologize, Mr. Villanueva.
No worries. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Villanueva. I literally live 2 blocks away. I'm actually, I'm for that, the zoning, the CA. I think it's a good idea. I kind of want to understand like the whole like spot zoning, why some people are against the zoning against people's opinions. It's my opinion that I think the CA zoning is a good idea. I see there's other municipalities in Nassau County that do somewhat similar things. One of them I can think of is Mineola. I know the village, they have like a zoning thing where they are able to give variances for different industrial buildings and change them into residential mixed-use developments. So just putting my opinion out there. Thanks.
Thank you. You can just set that down on the calendar.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, to address the 2 comments. So spot zoning, so everyone's clear on this, spot zoning is a legal term. It's illegal. None of the zoning decisions, particularly the CA designations, have certainly not been judged to be illegal, but none of them have even been challenged. And I think it's important to note that what we're doing with this local law, though, is the CA floating zone is simply a tool that's available to the Board of Trustees in opening up options, exploring different alternatives to, so much of the zoning code was written so long ago. And this simply expands our options and gives us the ability to try different things as we move from, a very mature suburb into a suburb of the future. So I just want to clear that up. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Mr. Villanueva, thank you. Further comments from the public? Okay, before the public hearing is closed, the village clerk reads the following resolution.
Resolution 088-21, secret resolution, lead agency, local law 3-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso,
Yes.
trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 089-21, secret resolution, unlisted action, local law 3-2021.
Move to resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso,
Yes.
trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 090-21, secret resolution, negative declaration, local law 3-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso,
Yes.
trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 091-21, adopt local law 3-2021.
Move to resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso,
Yes.
trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
At this time, we're going to close the first public hearing. Can I get a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Tuffarelli,
Yes.
trustee Grasso,
Yes.
trustee Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Fair.
Yes. We're going to move right into the second public hearing. Mr. Clerk?
Okay, this public hearing in person, is in person or on Zoom using the link provided. Mayor Fair, please call the public hearing in order at this time.
Roll call?
Trustee Tuffarelli,
Here.
trustee Grasso,
Here.
trustee Wright. Here. Mayor Fair.
Here.
Purpose of this public hearing is to consider proposal local law 5-2021, a local law to amend the official map of the incorporated village of Valley Stream by changing a certain parcel of land, which is lot 37, should be block 322. That is a correction.
Let the record show that the block is being corrected from 347 to the correct amount, the correct number, 322.
With lots 6 through 9, 95 through 98, and 108 in a C1 district to the CA Floyd Multiple Dwelling District. The location is 54 West Jamaica Avenue.
Any comments from the public? I'm sorry, from the board?
Is the applicant, are they gonna give a presentation first or? Let's see it, all right,
It doesn't matter.
okay.
Is the first piece with the, it doesn't matter the particular order that it comes in. I'm just curious, first, of any comments from the board? Comments from the public? Council? That's what I thought would happen, trustee Ross. Council, you're gonna have to use the handheld mic. I apologize.
Donald Minerva D'Agostino, 107 South Central Avenue, Valley Stream, New York, attorney for the petitioner. As the board is aware, on behalf of the applicant, I submitted a petition requesting that the Board of Trustees change the zone of the premises known as 54 West Jamaica Avenue, Valley Stream, New York, also known as Section 37, corrected block 322, tax lots 6 through 9, 95 through 98, and 108 on the Nassau County Land Tax Map from C1 to the CA Floating Multiple Family Dwelling District for purposes of constructing a new 47-unit multiple family rental apartment building. The site is located on the southeast corner of South Corona Avenue and West Jamaica Avenue. The proposed new building, if approved, will be 4 stories above grade level parking. There will be a mix of studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom apartments with 8 studios, 21 1-bedroom, and 18 2-bedroom apartments proposed. I would also note that the applicant will still be required to appear before the Board of Appeals for site plan and architectural review if the zone change is approved. The proposed building will maintain 43 parking spaces and is strategically located between the Valley Stream Long Island Railroad Station and the downtown business district on Rockaway Avenue, and a short walking distance to both. The applicant has engaged a parking consultant who will testify momentarily, as well as a real estate appraiser. Before I call upon them, I would just like to note that we received several comments from the various reviewing agencies as we went through the village process. Some of these questions will be addressed by the testimony of the applicant's experts, but I would note a few items. The applicant revised the roof plan to include a rooftop amenity deck for the residents. The applicant reduced the unit count from the original proposal of 48 units to 47 units and reduced the number of 2-bedroom apartments to add community room and lounge for the residents. There will be a trash room on each floor with a chute, and the trash will be compacted and picked up by private garden. The applicant will install energy efficiency methods to meet or exceed the New York State Building Code requirements, which some of the stringent in the country to begin with, including but not limited to high efficiency insulation, energy efficient windows, LED lighting, low flow plumbing fixtures, and energy efficient heating and cooling systems. All vents and mechanical equipment will be located on the roof. The applicant is also making a proposed contribution of $200,000 to the village's community benefit fund. For the board's information, the applicant is attempting to acquire the parcel to the west of the subject parcel, which is a residential dwelling. If the applicant is successful in those efforts, and at this point we do not know yet if that will happen, we would also be coming back to this board to seek the zone change for that parcel and expand the proposed building but that remains to be seen. At this time, I'd like to call upon my first expert, Mr. Barry Nelson, to testify.
You want
Okay.
you want me to clean the mic, or you're comfortable with using that?
Okay.
Sure. It's like you have Carol and mics in the people.
No, that's all right. Thank you.
Mr. Nelson, please state your name and address for the record.
It's Barry Nelson, 220 Pettit Avenue, Belmore, New York, 11710.
Mayor, having previously qualified Mr. Nelson as an expert with regard to land use and its valuation, I would ask if the board would be willing to continue that qualification.
Yes, his endorsements are on file with the village clerk's office.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna hand in some exhibits. I have photographs of the subject property and the surrounding uses. I think there's 25 pictures and original couple of copies. And I have some aerial views for the location of the subject property and the entrance. Just for a side note, as far as the floating zones, this board knows that I work throughout Nassau County in many villages in the town. This is not unique. Many of your other villages are doing the same thing, Lynbrook, town of Hempstead, Mineola, Farmingdale. So what you have here is something to encourage the growth of the communities and villages. And these floating zones tend to be TOD, transit-oriented development locations. And that's what the subject property, I believe, is ideal for. And if you look at the proximity to the downtown village, the shopping and mixed uses and some professional services, retail, you have Rockaway Avenue just to the first block to the east. You have the Long Island Railroad Station within a block to a block and a half, maybe less, to the west, southwest. You have Sunrise Highway, you have Green Acres Shopping Center within less than a mile to this location. So this is an ideal location for a proposed use of apartments, residential developments. The property is currently a C1 zone. It'll go to, or if it's approved, it'd be a CA zone. The uses found in the area, and you'll find, I've submitted photographs, will include offices, professional services, mixed uses, United States Postal Service, just to the southwest of the subject property in the subject block. You have a small firehouse just to the south, municipal parking fields throughout the area that both for the local businesses and for the Long Island Railroad. As I mentioned, it's an ideal situation to grow the village, increase the revenue stream for the village as well, both taxes and spending powers. The uniqueness is that if you put an office building at that location, you don't have the market or you don't have the economic for growing the downtown business district, which would be on Rockaway and for businesses, for small businesses. Because come 9 to 5, they're there. After 5, they're gone, they go to somewhere else. Apartment building, you have them there coming in the evening, and they'll be there on the weekends. Walking distance to the downtown business district. Ideal for the little shops, the little restaurants, the boutiques along Rockaway Avenue, and for the mall and so on. So what I'm experiencing, and if the board is very familiar with Long Island, it's what Farmingdale has done substantially.
It's what the village of Westbury has been doing for the last dozen years, and they're now looking to increase it and now encourage a greater mixed use with some retail on the first floor, because they're moving into the main arterial roads where the downtown business district is. It's what Lynbrook has been looking at, so they can compete with Rockville Center, and they just recently did approve a substantial similar use with 200 units right next to the railroad station. This, and I worked, I guess, probably maybe a year ago on another development within a block of this location, and that would be, I believe, the southeast corner of South Franklin and West Hawthorne Avenue. Ideal situation, mixed, and now you have a second building, so you're growing the village. You're growing without a burden on municipal services, without a burden on school districts, which I'll get into shortly. Actually, let's get right into that. The mixture is what the applicant is proposing, encourages the young, the first-time home buyers, which now, considering what the residential market has done as far as appreciation of property values, selling prices, asking prices, it's just about priced them out of buying houses. So what you have is 8 studios, 21 one-bedrooms, and 18 two-bedrooms. Quickly, based on economic rents, market rents, and this would be against competing villages, downtown villages such as Lynbrook, Mineola, and so on. Studios would rent for, and we're looking at today's market, approximately $1,800 to $2,000. 21 one bedrooms between $2,100 and $2,500, and 18 two bedrooms between $2,800 and $3,250 per month. The concern would be maybe impact on school district. And I could probably, all the studies that I've reviewed, comfortably say that there'd be no school-age children in studios. Very rarely you find school-age children in one bedrooms, and now you have 18 two bedrooms. You may have a child, a newborn in the studios or the one bedrooms. Hopefully they're now somewhat entrenched into the community and they'll buy a residential home in Valley Stream and live there. But the concern would be the school-age children in the two-bedroom units. Most of the studies that have been done, both privately and there's been a couple of public, estimates the ratio of one child per unit in two bedrooms of being less than 0.16%. Even at a rough 20% of the two bedrooms having a child, that would be 4 children within the building. And that's consistent with many of the other developments that have been approved, that will include the Avalon developments and some of them that are in Farmingdale as well as in village of Mineola. The school district, and I reviewed and we're in Valley Stream School District number 24. Back in 2014 was there was approximately in School District 24, and that would be the K through 12 grades, 1,090 students enrolled. The high of the enrollment was 1,115 students in the year 2016 and 2017. Currently, there's an enrollment of about 1,097 students. It's off of the high. Based on what I would estimate, even at 5 students, we still haven't reached what the high enrollment was back in 2016 and 17. So in my opinion, based on some of the reviews, some of the studies that I have done and research, it's
my opinion that this building is not gonna negatively impact the schools or the school district. The development is ideally situated. It's a redevelopment of a site that now is a little dated, doesn't really benefit the community. And considering the location to the Long Island Railroad, is downtown business district, and the concept of transit-oriented development, it's an ideal win-win situation for the village, for the community, for the economic development and future trends for the village. Thank you. And I'll remain for any questions. We want to let the rest of the experts
I
testify.
just have a
Yes,
quick question. Did you say your expertise was in valuation?
I am a real estate appraiser, real estate broker. My expertise is in valuation, land use, neighborhood developments, and I have been doing this there probably, I want to say, almost 40 years now.
Sure, so my question, the reason I asked that,
Yes.
is my question concerns, have you done an assessment of what the property is worth now and what you estimate it would be after this project is complete?
I haven't.
Okay.
I know what the Nassau County assessor assesses the value to put the market value on it. And I know it would be substantially higher after the development.
Okay.
And that the village, the county or the school would not lose on revenues.
Okay, thanks.
Counselor?
Okay, at this time, I'm Paul Rocking, expert. Okay, state your name and address for record.
Ethan Chukowski, I'm at 2929 Expressway Drive North, Hopalong, New York.
Going to submit a copy of his report and also a copy of his resume. He has been qualified as an expert before the zoning board of appeals, but not previously before this board, although other members of this firm have testified and been qualified as experts. Ethan, you want to briefly summarize your credentials?
Yeah, licensed professional engineer in the state of New York, and I'm a professional traffic operations engineer.
I would ask the mayor and board of trustees if you would be willing to qualify him as an expert witness with regard to parking demand.
So long as we have his resume and
Yes.
qualifications on record with the village clerk's office.
We are submitting that now.
Proceed.
Ethan, please tell the board the result of your inspection.
Thank you. As Dominic mentioned, we did a parking and traffic analysis for the proposal at 54 West Jamaica Avenue. Located at the southwest corner of the stop and control intersection of West Jamaica Avenue and South Corona Avenue. Currently, the site provides two driveways separated by about 25 feet along West Jamaica Avenue, with access to a 5-car garage, funeral vehicles. So the scope includes the removal of the existing building and the construction of 47 residential dwelling units, as was previously testified. There would be a street level parking garage with 43 resident parking stalls, inclusive of 88 stalls. And an 18-foot ingress driveway along West Jamaica Avenue and an 18-foot driveway along South Corona Avenue. The standard that we use nationally for parking and traffic studies is the Institute of Transportation Engineers. They conduct research across the country on developments such as this. The research indicates that residential developments located proximate to mass transit stations, such as the Long Island Railroad Station, about a block away, experience a lower parking and trip demand due to residents that use that public transit. Since the proposed site is located less than 850 feet from Valley Stream and only a block away from Rockaway Avenue, a significant percentage of the residents would likely utilize public transportation for rather than personal vehicles. The IT data and calculations indicate that a maximum of 37 vehicles would be parked there on average. That would be over a weekend overnight period. The IT demand projections indicate that the proposed parking supply of 43 spaces can accommodate the development parking demand. But in addition to that, we conducted a parking accumulation study at the nearby public parking areas during a peak Saturday night overnight, Saturday into Sunday night overnight period. We found that there were up to 87 spaces available in those site vicinity lots. There's the 3 public lots closest to the development. That would accommodate well over what the projected demand for this proposed residential, mixed-use residential sites. In addition to that, we'd like to also just note that lot 29 and about a block away is the Long Island Railroad. It offers 24-hour resident parking. So, if the overflow parking wasn't enough in the lots that we looked at, and the parking demand was much higher than what the research indicates, there is an option to buy resident parking passes for that lot. In conclusion, the village parking requirement in this zone is conservative. It doesn't specifically address the proposed development due to the proximity to the public transit. And the results of our study indicate that the proposed parking supply can be supported based on the IT parking demand projections, and there's plenty of overflow parking in the area. I'm available for any additional questions.
If there are no other questions for us,
Well, there might be.
we will be available to public comment if there are any additional questions. Thank you.
Yep, I would like to ask the village's Community and Economic Development Team, who's been tasked by the mayor and the board of trustees to specifically research cases such as this for the edification of the board as well as the public. So I'd like to ask them to make their statement, the village's Economic Development Team. Thank you, Mayor. You just got to come up and take the microphone, Mr. McAleer.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. The Community and Economic Development Team finds the current application for the change to CA zone at 54 West Jamaica Avenue to be in the best interest of Village Valley Stream and are recommending its approval. The economic, environmental, and social benefit of the proposal significantly outweighs existing and for potential detriments. We have come to this recommendation after scrutinizing the application, site visits, and several meetings with the applicant. This proposal is a significant investment in our community that will expand our tax base without requiring additional services from the village, and will enhance the safety and beauty of the corridor between the downtown and the train station. Our team has also negotiated a community benefit of $200,000. This contribution will improve the streetscape in between Rockaway Avenue and the train station and provide additional support for further projects. It's important to note that the parking variance being requested is greater than any variance previously granted by a similar project. You have heard the expert speak. The applicant indicates these concerns would be addressed, and he did with his comments tonight. The applicant has indicated that they are negotiating to purchase the resident property to the west of the subject property. Our team supports this addition to the project as well, and has indicated to the applicant that any changes to the current project would require an additional public hearing and negotiations with our team. Also, if this applicant is looking for IDA application, to remind them that the workforce housing will apply at that time. Thank you, Mayor. If there's any questions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've now heard from the village and the developers. At this time, we have any further comments from the board?
I have a question for the economic development team.
Yes.
The first is when, at what point is the community benefit paid?
We are still negotiating the timeframe, but we're looking right now a third at the approval from the BZA site plan. And then potentially at the permit would be the balance.
Okay, so then, my second question is has this gone up to the Nassau County Planning Board?
It has
What was their determination?
local determination. They did recommend to discuss the parking, which the applicant has. And also, if it does go to IDA, you know, they should address workforce housing.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate the work that the team did. When we started talking about community benefit, this was something actually that came out of a series of meetings I think we had a development team put together a few years ago, and we brought in the mayors and other community experts, particularly the mayors of Farmingdale, Mineola, I believe, a few of the other ones, and they really helped us along with the notion of community benefit, in that when developers come forward and ask us for consideration for their projects, the villages, the municipalities are certainly well within their purview to ask for community benefit. We dipped our toe into that community benefit with a project some years ago in securing a tree fund balance to, you know, there's some trees being taken down at that property, and we requested that the developer contribute $25,000 to a tree fund, which has been done. This is substantially higher, and I think the team has done a good job on it. The only thing I would caution on is that I think some of the and we have to just be aware of it. You know, this is something Valley Stream has just started implementing. I'm not sure we're up to the same level of this is up to the same level of some of those other projects that are done in other communities, but I think this is certainly a step in the right direction. Okay, thanks.
Further comments from the board?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I had another question for Dom.
On the board.
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry. Dom. We talked a little bit about IDAs and pilots and things like that. I don't know if it's already been discussed with the community development, the economic development team, but has your client made a commitment either to or not to seek a pilot for this project?
Okay, we have not filed anything with the IDA yet, but we do intend to explore that option with the IDA. And if you know, we get a positive response, it is likely that we will file an application. Whether benefits are granted or not is totally, you know, within the purview of the Industrial Development Agency. They have their own hearing and make a decision whether or not to grant those benefits. You know, the taxes or the pilot will be at least what is being paid today. There will be no reduction from what's being paid today.
So in discussions I've had both with the board members and with the members of the economic development team is that I certainly, and I think some of the other members of the board, are very interested in any developments which seek pilots or assistance from the IDA would hold the village harmless from those that tax benefit. Reason being is that both from the economic development team and from yourself and your clients, the argument that the village should pursue this seems to be the tax benefit. By going to the IDA and removing that tax benefit, I'm curious as to why, what our options or we're giving away a rather large portion of that benefit as the gentleman who spoke about the value of the property has testified when I asked him earlier, is that this project would substantially increase the value of that property. That is a large part of the benefit to the village in approving this, is that our tax base would go up through the value of that property, but I'd be reluctant certainly to give away with our right hand what we just kind of acquired with our left. So I'm curious as to, could you give us any sort of assurance that we're not giving away the very benefit you're promising us?
I understand your position. I can't make a commitment now because we haven't even filed. We don't even know what reduction they would give us, what benefits, what length of pilot. we're certainly open to negotiating something with the village when we know what the numbers will be, to address that.
So, yeah, I would just like to note for the record, and just so that everyone is, and, you know, going into this with eyes open, that, while I can't speak for the entire board, I would certainly, if the village was gonna be losing that benefit at the Hempstead or the Nassau County IDA, I would speak strongly against granting that benefit.
I believe that the board is aware that the IDA will be interested in the village's position in terms of whether or not they're gonna grant benefits. So in order to have a successful IDA application, I think we will need to make you happy. So we're certainly going to do that, but I can't make any specific commitments yet because we didn't put together an application yet, but we will be keeping you in the loop, and we certainly want to go into the IDA without opposition, and we will work with you to work that out.
But finally, I apologize, the last question I have is, you know, of course, it came up in some of the discussion already, is the property, the residential property to the west of the subject property that you're talking about?
Yes.
Attempting to acquire, the zoning on that is residential right now, right?
I think that might be C1 as well.
C1.
Yeah, it's a residential home, but it's in the C1 district.
Okay. Sorry, I wrote that all my questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's important to note for the record that this is basically the first step is the CA zone. There'd still be building permits, BZA applications. If they went to Town of Hempstead or Nassau County, there'd be at least 4 more public hearings that I can figure, Counselor, after this moving forward.
Yes, we will have public hearings before the Board of Appeals and.
Right, as I just want the record to note that this is step 1. We don't have a building permit yet. We need building permits. We would need, you know, letting the public know who's not familiar with the process,
Yes.
that you need building permits. You'd have to go before the BZA for site, zoning, et cetera.
Our
And
next
then if
step,
you went before the town or the county, these are all public hearings on the record, open to the public. Public is notified, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is not the end tonight. This is actually the beginning.
yes, our next step will be the Board of Appeals for site plan and architectural review. And once we've successfully obtained our entitlements, then and only if we make our application for a hearing for and potential IDA benefits. So that's down the road.
And the building permit as well.
Then we have to file construction drawings, file for a building permit, and so we got a little while to go.
Right. But I just, again, I think the board is aware, and I know you are, Counselor. I wanted the public to be aware. All right, comments from the public on this application for 54 West Jamaica Avenue.
Tony Idavale, 25 South Corona Avenue, Valley Stream. Just my own opinion. 57 years ago, when I moved into the suburb of Valley Stream, it was great. For my own opinion, it is now becoming an extension of Queens with all these apartments that are being built.
Thank you, Mr. Idavale. Further comments from the public?
Should I repeat my name?
Yeah.
Mike Belfiore, 27 Du Bois Avenue, Valley Street, New York. Yeah, I don't know where to start. I'm getting old and forgetful.
Mr. Belfiore, just your questions to the board.
Oh, no, I was gonna ask Dominic a question.
Address your questions to the board.
Okay.
If we feel
You
that
got
Mr.
it.
Minerva
You
needs to
got it, Mr. Mayor.
answer it, we'll call Mr. Minerva.
No problem. So, this donation benefit, the community benefit donation,
Correct.
has that fund been established yet?
No.
So there are no specifics associated with it?
As I said, this is just the beginning.
Okay.
Mr. Macklin mentioned that we're looking at, you know, a third up front and maybe a third when they break ground, a third when we're done, et cetera. That's
Okay,
still
but we
being
have no
negotiated.
formal fund.
There
no
will
place
be
to place
before
it.
this begins, but there is not one now. Right now, what we have,
Will
is
that
what
fund
Trustee
have
Grasso mentioned, is the tree fund exists, but this is not gonna be just for trees. This is gonna be for streetscape and improvement, walkability from the 54 West Jamaica to Rockaway Avenue to make it enticing to walk 1 block east.
So you're talking about additions to the project in the form of streetscape?
Not necessarily.
No, I realize that, that's the point I'm making.
Improving sidewalks, lighting, et cetera, to make it,
The street itself,
the
asphalt,
street,
concrete,
right, make it
trees,
comfortable for
lighting.
people to walk
That-
down to Rockland.
Right, that's the point I'm making, is that I'm a little concerned that the money doesn't just end up in the general fund.
No, that can't happen.
Why not? I mean, if you're repairing the sidewalk and you don't have any specifics yet for it, that's my question. Anyway, there was something, oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna ask Donna. If the applicant doesn't seek approval for an IDA for a pilot, or that a pilot isn't granted, will the project be financially viable?
So, Mr. Minerva, will your client go through with the development if you are not granted?
Can I look at it?
No, we need the IDA benefits to make a financially viable project, and that's why we intend to apply.
And so if the IDA, at the public hearings for the pilots and the IDA were denied, you would withdraw your application.
That's correct. Our agreement is to purchase the property is contingent on zoning approval and the IDA benefits, because we need both to make the project.
Thank you, Mr. Minerva. Mr.
So I think that really clears the air as to a few questions that came out. In other words, he is going for, if this project is approved here, there will be a pilot to go for, and they won't be able to do it, to continue with it unless the pilot is approved. So then we're going to assume for the approval of this, that you're calculating in the pilot. Okay, I don't expect an answer. I do have to remind the board members that the IDA, the Town of Hempstead IDA, looks to your approval as the go-ahead from the local government. They pride themselves on doing only what the local government would like. They don't want to go against the local government. And the attorneys who represent cases before the Town of Hempstead will actually state that the local government, in this case Valley Stream, is behind this project because, look, they approved it. So it's important to know that once you approve this, it's like telling the Town of Hempstead, okay, we're for this.
That's incorrect.
That is, explain that.
That is
if you
incorrect.
can, if you want to.
No, the IDA, whether it's Town of Hempstead or County of Nassau, specifically makes application to us and asks the board and the mayor to send a letter explaining the pros and cons as to why we would want or not want. This hearing has nothing to do with the IDA approval.
Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of the letters, as I foiled documents, I've never seen those types of communications, maybe they were withheld, who knows? But I have heard attorneys stand before and apply for the Town of Hempstead, and the attorneys will actually mention that it's been approved and they've got the okay from the local government. So that's why I said that. I may be wrong, I'm not an attorney. So, now here's something for the, because we're talking of pilots, is Trustee Grasso brought up a great question. I've read commentary, not just in this case, but on others, because there's a public concern about pilots. And it's been mentioned that in the future, the local government, school districts, local government, will receive no less than the present tax that's being produced by the property. But we're developing the property. So if we, for instance, if we develop that property for, let's say, a number of two-family homes, they'd probably be built within the year and they'd be producing an increased revenue than is presently there. So the comparison, or to rely on a starting point of where the taxes are now, is, to me,
I was just
Silly.
object, this really goes to the IDA application, not the
That's correct.
zone change that's for this board.
Right, and also with the IDA applications, as you're well aware, Michael, that they may start at where they are today, and they increase over a period of whatever the IDA hearing is, 10 years, 15 years, and then they're paying full bore.
Yes, which brings me to to another
It's
question.
not in perpetuity.
Right, only for 25 years.
No, it's
No,
usually 10 or
well,
15.
well,
Very
and
rarely
then-
have I seen 25. I can't recall ever seeing.
They always get extensions. Check the record like Hawthorne Village or the Hawthorne Apartments, so on and so forth. They usually get extensions, which is odd because once you reach the 20 or 25 year point, the property is actually, for tax purposes, is now going to be devalued. You know, in other words, the attorneys will present the case that, look, this is an apartment house that was built 25 years ago. It's not worth what now, you know, what it was worth then. So you have to take that into consideration. But, which really leads me to me getting up to the microphone here, which I don't think it's working.
This is the one over there you were supposed to pick up. Like
Should I?
Yeah.
Should
Well, you
I?
can say it all.
I don't know. Did people hear me? So, I really can't say whether I'm for or against this project. And the reason for that is that the village hasn't pursued putting together a financial, professionally done, what do they call it, a financial impact analysis, which is quite common for this type of floating zone operation. You know, when you're really changing the existing code. You haven't done for any of the other projects either. So if we keep adding, you know, 40 apartments, 39 apartments, 50 apartments, we don't really know what the financial impact is. We don't know comparisons of, let's say the property was developed as commercial, let's say it was developed as 1 and 2 family homes. So we really don't know unless we had a professionally done financial impact analysis. And I have to give you guys credit because I don't know how you're going to come to a decision. You have in the past. I don't know how you do it without such a document in front of you, but that's your business, not mine. Let me see. Oh, since people had brought up after I spoke about how, and some of the audience realized how the CA or floating zone is being done all over town, all over the county, all over Long Island. It's a great deal. As far as I know, and I have investigated other floating zones, the Village of Valley Stream has absolutely no specifics attached to it, unlike all other communities, including Mineola, which I did look into, even including the town of Hempstead, which I wouldn't have thought, that they actually have provisions in there for housing for adult disabled. It's something that's interesting. It's interesting that the Village of Valley Stream really has absolutely no specifics. Reading the wording of the CA section of the code, it says that this board takes over, makes all the decisions as far as, what's the term, a bulk requirements, all requirements, in other words. So let's not confuse the Village of Valley Stream with other villages that have very specific floating zones. And since I'm going to lose my place, so I do want to suggest on a friendlier note that the board members seriously consider rereading the New York State's, what is it, Long Island Workforce Housing Act. Please reread it. I think there's some misunderstanding there. My reading of it is, my belief is that, you know, with a project like this and also the other one that's on a back burner, I think 2 others on a back burner, we're talking about an increase in density of 300 to 400%. That's a substantial gift. And that could produce substantial amounts of money for for the village to use, and as the act states, for housing alternatives, housing initiatives that you might want to do. For instance, senior citizen housing. We're not talking about a couple of $1,000s for some trees. We're not talking about even $100,000 or $200,000 for some possible sidewalk rehab. So I'll leave it at that. Just please consider rereading it, and maybe you can discuss it in the back room.
Further comments from the public?
Hi, everyone. Again, Michael Weber, 322 West Ocean Boulevard, Ocean, New York. Again, I support the development. I just have a few questions, actually. I was just kind of wondering why, has the developer looked into like mixed-use development, such as retail space on the first floor and maybe a few floors of apartments on the top? Is that something that was considered?
We've looked at that at other locations. This particular location, no. But the economic development team, David, you want to address that?
Given the location of this development in the corridor between the downtown and the train station, it's a residential, area in the corridor that we're trying to build this up. The mixed use would not work in this location. So we discouraged, or, in talks with the application, with the applicant, it wasn't, part of that location.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we do have it in others.
Right.
Just to make sure, this is on the one on West Jamaica?
Yes.
Yes.
So can I just address that and
Yes.
start with another thought on that, is that part of the overall plan is to, and desire to increase the success of the downtown existing, the retail downtown, Rockaway Avenue and that corridor, Franklin, and the existing stores and restaurants. So
Again, I agree. I think this is a good idea to revitalize downtown. Another thing, I actually agree with Michael when it comes to like the senior housing. I think we do need more senior housing. I see more development like also happening with that.
We're working on it.
Correct.
Something we all want to see.
Awesome.
I'm saving a spot for Trustee Grasso.
Perfect, okay. And yeah, I mean, those were pretty much the major ones. That just, I think mixed use is a very big thing that we should look into for development. And I like that we're moving forward in the right direction with development and increasing the housing in Palestine.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Yes, we are looking into mixed-use development. We are looking into senior housing. We've been very busy.
Awesome, thank you.
Again, thank you. We, one of the big things is the developer in this case it's a substantial investment in the community. And that's one of the things that cannot be overlooked, where you have, it's not really, well, I was gonna say dilapidated, but maybe that's a little mean. You have an old existing structure, and you're going to have multi-millions of dollars of investment within the community. And this is an investor who's, again, investing their money into our community. Further comments from the public? Yes. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Danuta Grigierczyk. I live on 86 South Corona Avenue. And the old project is gonna be directly next to my house. So I know how hard it's gonna be for me and for you guys to deal with all of the situation. But what I wanted to say that I'm willing to do some, the investment and go forward with the village. But believe it or not, when I moved to Valley Stream, I thought that the Valley Stream is gonna be a residential and quiet area. It looks like it's going to be like a city again. So it's gonna be hard for me to deal with you guys right now. I'm looking for other perspective. You're talking about building a structure of 42 apartments, or 40 something, 47,
47.
Yeah. So think about it. all about facilities, all about parking lots, all about noise, all about surrounding area. If you're talking about parking lots, for right now, the surrounding over there.
Yeah.
For right now, the surrounding parking lots over there are full. Because who parks over there? People who go to the city, people who work in the post office. And during the day, they are full. During the day, they are full. So, believe me or not, like, I know it's gonna be for another year or two when you're gonna start doing it. But I'm gonna be the most impacted because of that development. Because I'm really facing, my house is facing to the south. So I'm really gonna, every single day, look at you. So, and believe it or not, it's a really, I'm not really going for it. I'm not really going for it. It was a funeral home. I know it was noisy too, but I get used to it. But with this kind of a structure, it's gonna, I don't know if this is really gonna, I know it's gonna make you guys money, more taxable, more taxes to the, what is it called? The government, the tax revenues. But if you think about the residential area, Valley Stream used to be a residential area. So I think I'm not going for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further comments from the public? Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My comments is not
You just
related to.
name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Nancy Camulare, spelled Camulare. I reside on Albert Court, Valley Stream, New York. Okay. Once again, good evening, everyone. I am here to discuss an issue that occurred last week.
Ma'am, I have to stop you. This is
Yes.
only on 54 West Jamaica Avenue. At
Okay,
the end of this hearing, we can hear your concerns about
Okay.
Albert Court.
so I can come back.
Correct. No, you don't have to come back. As I said in the beginning, we have two public hearings, a regular
Okay.
meeting,
No
and then we have
problem.
public comment.
Okay,
This is only on 54 West Jamaica Avenue,
no problem.
so don't go away.
Okay, thank you.
Further comments from the public on West Jamaica Avenue? Further comments from the board on West Jamaica Avenue?
I have a couple people unless anyone wants to go first. So, heard a couple of things here. One thing I did want to bring up, because oftentimes in these hearings, different concerns are raised, and we've been through this process a few times already. And one of the concerns that had always been raised in the past was that the introduction of apartment houses into the community would drive down property values. Now, recently there have been several new articles out. Newsday was one of them. I believe there were some others in some of the local publications, that property values in the presence of these developments have actually soared in Valley Stream. I saw recently, I couldn't believe I saw a property that in Valley Stream that went for nearly $1 million. So, you know, a lot of times the rhetoric around these issues gets heated, and concerns regarding urbanization and what it does to the suburban character. I think one of the big factors of that is people, you know, the biggest investment they make in their life is the investment they make in their home, right? Most people. And so a great deal of concern and legitimate concern, I think, is attributed to property values. So I just want to set some folks' minds at ease in case that is their concern, that projects such as this drive down property values. In fact, we've seen just the opposite, and the facts have borne out just the opposite. So I just wanted to put that out there for the record. I did a little quick research on the valuation of the property. Right now, this property is contributing nearly $100,000 to the, I think that's District 24 over there, to the school district. As the expert testified earlier, the project would likely increase significantly in value, and if we approach the pilot and the some of the other tax issues correctly, we could see hopefully a substantial investment in our schools based on this project, as well as the village. The community benefit of $200,000, I wanted to talk about this, I raised it earlier, and I think this is a really good thing. You know, in the past, we just started that process and we got a tree fund. This, I think, is substantially more, and one of the issues that had been raised in earlier projects when we talked about things like development are what kind of burden is this going to place on village infrastructure and village resources? So, you know, the mayor and the board over the last, I guess, 10 years, it's been a long time, has made substantial investment in, you know, something that's not a very exciting or interesting part of municipal governance, but is necessary, and that's sanitation. A multi-million-dollar investment in improving and expanding the capacity for getting rid of garbage. Like I said, it doesn't sound like an exciting thing, but if you've ever been to Italy, or if you're old enough to remember the garbage strikes in New York City, when the garbage doesn't get picked up or there's a problem with that system, the community very much suffers. And so I think there was great foresight on behalf of the mayor and the board to make that investment in our sanitation infrastructure. I would suggest, and given there was a fire a few weeks ago at one of our developments on the roof, it turned out to be a minor fire, but I would like to encourage those who are utilizing the community benefit to make some investment in our volunteer firefighting and into our fire prevention and protection infrastructure. I think that would be a wise investment of that money, as well as, you know, as is noted here, and the team has talked about it a little bit, is improving that corridor from the train station to Rockaway Avenue. I think that's going to pay dividends far greater than we could foresee now. I think that has been the sort of thing that has limited the impact that the Hawthorne apartments have had on Rockaway Avenue, is that the corridor itself could use some work. And I think that's been great foresight by the economic development team to include that as part of this project, to make sure that if this project goes in, not only do we want folks from that development going to Rockaway Avenue, we want to make the transit from the train station to the avenue that much more attractive and that much more welcoming and that much more user-friendly. So those are the only points I wanted to bring up. The corridor, as I said earlier in my comments to council, I am cautious and skeptical of giving away the very benefit that you're offering up as incentive for us to approve this project by approaching the IDA, and I think you should be very aware that I, at least on the board, I'm going to make rather strong arguments as to protecting the village's interest in those actions going forward.
Trustee Tuffarelli?
The only thing I'd like to add is everybody went through the economics, Vincent, some of the residents out here, the economic team. But what a lot of people forget is the need for these apartments. Many of us in this room, I'm here for over 40 years now, many of us had kids that had to leave the village of Valley Stream because they couldn't rent an apartment. Google an apartment right now in Valley Stream or co-op. You can't find it. There's a need for our kids that live here now that don't want to leave for a place to live. And people seem to forget that. Mr. Idigo, we've been through the battle here. Many years we served the youth of this community between us, probably 50 years. Where do those kids go? They don't live here no more. They have nowhere to go. Your kids, your children, most of them included. We have a necessity in Valley Stream for these kind of developments. People, 12 years ago when I first ran, Ed was with me, and people talked about the village of Valley Stream downtown. If we do not do projects like this and let them happen one way or another, and I'm all with Vincent, we should not give the tax revenue away. We should do our best to get as much as we could for our government. But we also have an economic engine on Rockaway Avenue that needs to be fueled. If you don't let people move around there, it's not going to happen. And those people are paying top dollar in school taxes to District 24, whether they own the property rented it goes into their pocket, it comes out of their pockets. So it's our duty as a board to fuel that engine. Somebody made reference, I think it was Mr. Nelson, to Westbury. 25 years ago, I went to rent a store on Post Avenue. It was deserted. It was for nothing. Go there today, look at the buildings they put up there. The place is lively, the stores are vibrant, the stores are all making money from the mom and pop to the bigger restaurants. They're doing well. If we don't do that, there will be no future. I know people think differently, but I'm here a long time. I lived the dream. I came in from Queens. I'm here over 40 years. And to say Valley Stream isn't what you thought it was is wrong. Valley Stream is a good town. And if we don't do things like this, it's not gonna stay. We need to keep that, you can't be blind. I said this a couple of years ago with another project. People have to be aware to get what you want, to have that vibrant downtown. You have to give a little bit, and you will succeed, but you have to let it happen. And Mike, you're a good guy, and you said it, you were very smart when you said it. You don't know if you're for or against. I don't speak very often at these things. So that was good on your part, because I think even you know we need that for the downtown. It's hard for you, but I'm just making a point. Even I think you know it's good for our downtown to do that. And the idea of the money going from that project to Rockaway Avenue, somewhere in the middle of it, to try to make it look a little nicer, is perfect. That's how it starts.
Why would you want to take the advice of a telephone worker? I'm saying that you should be going professional and get a
You know
fiscal
what?
analysis,
We're all here,
impact statement.
Michael, we're all here a long time. We lived here, we're all
You have
seasoned.
no idea what it.
Well, let me tell you, I know if we don't do it, we're not gonna get anything. I know that's the way to go, because we filled up all the apartments.
Get the state, get the professionals
It
to
works.
do it.
I'm sure they could come up with it.
Don't ask the telephone worker, what is he?
I'm sure they could come up with it.
So the other item is, most of these properties, the existing properties, either Hawthorne Court, as trustee Grasso mentioned, and now the funeral home property, and then Mr. Villanueva, I spoke about the fact that there are commercial industrial properties that are becoming residential properties. The opposite is happening here, folks. Commercial properties and office buildings are becoming residential properties. It's not, turning them into office buildings and stores. They're turning into residences, number one. Number two, sadly, Valley Stream Mr. Bode. David, I'm gonna put you on the spot just because my numbers are rusty. Our neighbors in, for example, Lynbrook and Rockville Center have 2 to 3 to 4 times the amount of apartment buildings and residential buildings that Valley Stream has, yet they're half our size. Lynbrook is half, Rockville Center is half our size, Lynbrook is a little less than half our size, and Lynbrook has twice as many apartments as we have. And that's because years back, they had the foresight to put some of these in. Same thing with Rockville Center. You can get really crazy and look at like Great Neck or Long Beach, which is all, apartments and residential. But one of the reasons that Valley Stream has suffered a little bit is because these projects were shunned when our neighbors didn't shun them. And most of you don't think of Lynbrook as an extension of the city, yet they have twice as many apartments as we do, and they're half the size. Just, you gotta look at the facts, right? You gotta look at the facts. Further comments from the board? Further comments from the public? All right, so before the public hearing is closed, the village clerk reads the following resolution into the minutes.
Resolution 092-21, secret resolution, lead agency local law 4-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 093-21, secret resolution, unlisted action, local law 4-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 094-21, secret resolution, negative declaration, local law 4-2021.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 095-21, adopt local law 4-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
I'd like to ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Fair.
Yes. At this time, the two public hearings are concluded. Julia, thank you very much. We're going to move on to our regular agenda, the regular Board of Trustees meeting. We are going to forego the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to start with the village clerk reading the Zoom link.
Okay, the public may attend the regular meeting or join on Zoom using the link provided.
Sorry. Hold on, Ms. Clerk. I'm sorry. Yes. No, I don't think so. I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk. Roll call.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Here.
Trustee Thomas is excused. Trustee Grasso.
Here.
Trustee Wright. Here. Mayor Fair.
Here.
Following minutes are then voted upon. Resolution 096-21 minutes.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 097-21 assesses petitions number 5 and 6-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 098-21 accept donations.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 099-21 annual adoption of village investment policy.
Move this resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 100-21 annual designation of financial institutions.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 101-21 annual adoption of village procurement policy.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 102-21 adopt a standardization of purchase.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 103-21 audit of village court records.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 104-21 secret resolution lead agency site development plan review.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call. I'm sorry, Michael?
Is this the same error with the block? Should we read in
Correct.
that the
It
block
should be
is
322.
Yes, it's 322.
Thank you, Michael. That's going to be corrected. Thank you. Further comments from the board? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 105-21 secret resolution unlisted action site development plan review.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 106-21 secret resolution negative declaration site development plan review.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 107-21 secret resolution lead agency imposition of CA District 54 West Jamaica Avenue.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 108-21 secret resolution unlisted action imposition of CA District 54 West Jamaica Avenue.
Okay, we just gotta change to 347 to 322 again, correct?
Correct.
Okay, move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 109-21, secret resolution, negative declaration in position of CA District 54 West Jamaica Avenue. Same thing, change the
To 322.
lot to 322, please.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 110-21, final action to apply the CA zone to 54 West Jamaica Avenue.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 111-21, secret resolution, lead agency, New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, Recreational Trails Program Grant.
Move to resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board?
Could we just get some more clarity on what this is exactly?
Yeah, David, you want to go over that?
Yes, through the consolidated funding application, there's a recreational trails program grant. We're applying to it to seek funding, reimbursement funding for resurfacing of Henderson Park Trail.
How much do we get, are we applying for?
We're gonna apply for 80% of the total, which will be about $100,000 or so.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Further comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 112-21, super resolution, unlisted action, New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, Recreational Trails Program Grant.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 113-21, secret resolution, negative declaration, New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, Recreation Trails Program Grant.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 114-21, approved New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, Historic Preservation, Recreational Trails Program Grant.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 115-21, New York State ARPA funding.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board?
This is the funding as it relates to the federal package that was passed.
Correct. Further comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 116-21, 911leasing.com.
Move to resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 117-21, except for professional service fee, parking lot 26.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Anthony, I forgot to remind you, if there is any people questioning online, you would have hollered, right?
Yeah, so far,
I'm
no
sorry,
comments.
I meant to mention that with the Zoom, I forgot. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 118-21, accept engineering service fees, 2020 road improvement program.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 119-21, approve ADP Inc. Global Master Service Agreement.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 120-21, approve contract sales agreements.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 121-21, install signage.
Move to resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 122-21, remove signage.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 123-21, claim settlements.
Move to resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 124-21, use of village facilities.
Move to resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 125-21, Unit 2 reclassification.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 126-21, payment of audited vouchers.
I hereby move that the abstracted audited vouchers be paid as soon as same is approved by the majority. Move to resolution.
Second.
Second. Sorry. Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Taffarelli?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
You'll make a note of the meeting schedules are posted there, July 12th, July 19th, August, September. At this time, I ask for a motion to close the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Taffarelli?
Yes.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Fair?
Yes. At this time, as promised, we are open for comments from the public. Mr. Idibio?
Going back to November 2019, when this board approved a application for trucks at 15 South Corona Avenue without the knowledge that your own building department permit shows it was a residential garage, not to be used for trucks, but you approved it. When I heard about it, I came down in December 2019. You asked me to make a copy. If you could make a copy of that document, which you did, and you said you would take a look at it. Well, a year and a half, this board is sitting on their backside. Nothing has happened on that property. The trucks are there. My property value has gone down, and I expect I would get a decrease, Michael, on my next tax bill. Secondly, I can't even have family and friends over for a barbecue, because anywhere from 5 o'clock at night to 9 o'clock at night, all you hear is beep, 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 beep for 15, 20 minutes as the trucks are pulled in to the parking garage. Also, things have happened where they're taking advantage of the situation, had pickup trucks and vehicles parked on the grass. They park at the meters. Nobody gets a ticket at the meters, okay? Code enforcement does not follow up on any of this information. And I know, Michael, you have seen pictures of all the infringements that have taken place there. What I'm saying is, what happened to the fact that you were going to look at the proposed document from your own building department? Does the residents have to go ahead and sue the village again, like happened 35 years ago when the trucks were removed, as well as 30 some odd cars that were new cars from Acura that were parked on the Corona Avenue side lot? So happened after that, Lou Salicito, the owner, buys the property, and for 35 years, the residents have had no problem at all. When the new person was going to buy the property, he was advised by Joe Sorrentino of Acura that you could not put trucking business here. And he did it anyway. I don't know who he has in his back pocket, but he's getting away with everything. As I mentioned to a few of you, I met with the owner and his wife. They seem like nice people, but all of a sudden, everything is going haywire. In fact, up until last week, they were doing some construction on the property. I went out and I asked them, please, if my kids have to get out or I have to get out, you can't have all those trucks near the driveway where we can't even make, because my driveway is exactly opposite their driveway, which, by the way, somebody said that they were given an okay to widen the driveway. It's about 20 feet wide now. Yet the neighbor next door at 27 West Lincoln asked if he can go 3 feet wider and was told no on his property. He put the house up for sale, could not sell the house because of the trucking business. So that trucking business belongs in the industrial zone, not 1 block off Rockaway Avenue. Okay? And I'm waiting for your answer and get an answer to me ASAP on the document that's being held by Michael Hopkins that shows your own village building department permit is for a residential garage, not trucks.
Counselor?
Yeah. Tony, good to see you again. Is this on there?
Should be.
Just to refresh everybody's memory, because this is happening all over the place, including in the courtroom. We've had something since March of 2020 that has impacted everything that everybody is doing as a practical proposition. I was into the office last week, meeting Village Hall. I pulled the file for the purpose of reviewing the appropriateness of the resolution that was passed back in 2019. I haven't really started to get into it, Tony, but I will, as I promised you. On the issue of the violations that you observed, and you know this as well as I, in order for us to issue a summons for a violation, it must be observed by the code enforcement officer. So, if the code enforcement officer isn't present to witness the violation, his hands are pretty much tied. If you say to him, for example, well, it looks good now, but you should have seen it last night at 2 o'clock, that's not going to cut the mustard.
Right.
The village justice court would dismiss that 1, 2, 3. And I encourage you, if you see violations, call the village, get code enforcement on top of it. But the threshold question was the review for the appropriateness of the resolution 2 years ago. As I say, I picked up the information last week. I haven't gotten into it yet, but I will get into it, I promise you. And number 2, there's an element of self-help in code enforcement. And by that, I mean, when you witness the violation, call code enforcement. Somebody will try to get down there. If they witness what you're referring to, and if it's appropriate, they'll issue the summons, the warning, whatever comes about.
Right. As I mentioned to you, I don't work for the village.
No.
You know, and I hate to just call, the people seem like nice people, and I didn't want to have.
Hold on for a second. The code enforcement person cannot be stationed at that location 24/7, 365, okay? So transient problems, that means problems that exist for a while and then they're gone.
Right.
They may occur tomorrow again, who
Right.
knows?
Right.
Unless they're observed by the code enforcement officer, Tony, you've been around long enough, you know how difficult it is
Right.
to try to do anything at that point. Which is why I say to you again, and I'll have nothing more to say at least for tonight, if you see a violation of what you perceive to be a violation, alert code enforcement, ask them to get somebody out there. I'm sure they'll try to get
Right.
out.
My
there
only
properly as
question, Michael, is from when the application was approved, November 2019, when I heard about it, I came in the December 2019 meeting with the appropriate document from your own building department showing that the permit for the original garage was for a residential garage. It happens to be a 2-family home. It now is a business for trucks, okay? That besides the 2-family home. So I hope that not only is he paying taxes on a 2-family home, nobody's paying taxes on a trucking garage. When I asked the person, he was nice enough to say he used to rent the spot in Lynbrook for his trucks. When he was told that this property was for sale, he was gonna buy it and store his trucks and do his business from that 15 South Road, which is right opposite my home. I didn't move there to have a trucking business, across from my house and have me have problems or my kids to get in and out of my driveway. Right? Or have a barbecue in the summertime and have trucks going back and forth. So what I was wondering about, Mayor, is you yourself asked me to have a copy made by this board of that official document from your building department. And you said, if it shows that it was wrong, we will remedy it. A year and a half later, nothing's been remedied.
Tony,
I know what you said,
that's what
the
I think.
pandemic hit, and I realized that. So that's why I didn't say anything about it after that.
I understand, and it's one of the reasons why, quite frankly, the courts are shut down.
Yeah.
I'm a court guy.
Yeah,
No
I
courts,
understand what
all
you're
right,
saying
for
with
a
the
year and a
pandemic,
half.
that's why.
Tony, I promise you, I picked up material just the other week. I haven't had a chance to go through it. I will start to go through it. I'll even, before I make any decision or recommendation to the village, I'll talk to you in person.
Okay.
If you want to come to my office, or if you want to meet down here, we'll sit down together and talk for a bit.
Okay.
But you gotta give me some time, please. It was only last week I picked the material up. I promise you.
Okay.
Okay, man.
Thank you.
Further comments from the public? This is addressing. Oh, okay, same topic. Yep.
Hi. I'm Karen Casoria. This is my
And I'm
husband
Phil Casoria.
at 15 South Corona. So as Tony said, we bought this property and we had an issue and pulled permits to park our, we don't have a trucking company. We're a mason and landscape design
Karen, you
company.
just have to address the board,
Okay.
not Mr. Idavio.
So we don't have a trucking company. We pulled a special permit to park our vehicles in this garage, and we were granted the permit. We then had more complaints that we heard through code enforcement that the beeping of our trucks, which is a DOT requirement, was bothering Tony. So we actually disconnected the beeping for Tony. He then complained that our garage door was too squeaky, so we then remedied that. So everything that he has brought to the code enforcement, where we're actually getting harassed by Tony indirectly through code enforcement. Yes, it's constantly
You had your
getting
chance,
called,
Tony.
which I will be foiling my property to see how many complaints have been put on there because something has to be done. We then heard that he's complaining our vehicles are being parked on grass, which was not, it was parked on gravel. So we then stopped all of our work, pulled permits, and now we did the whole side of the property, which is directly across from his side property, while we were doing the construction on that side of Lincoln Avenue. We did park our dump truck there because we were working on the property in that driveway. So we cannot move the truck anywhere else other than where we are working. He then complained that we were blocking his driveway, which was more than enough space for 2 dump trucks to pull out of his driveway and go the other way, since it is a one-way street. So now that it is remedied again, I'm still hearing of complaints. So it's constant harassment. We feel like we have to walk on eggshells at this property, which is not why we bought this. We have tried to be super respectful to Tony and his family by trying to accommodate every complaint they have had, yet we still are getting harassed by him and calling code enforcement. So I will be doing whatever I have to do to remedy the harassment. It is not right for us to buy this property. We are not trying to make it look commercial in any way. I think it looks a million times better than it ever did. Again, we were not planning on fixing the side until the end of the year because again, we do have a business and we have customers that need work done, not us. But we did stop everything because we're tired of getting harassed by Tony calling code enforcement about every little thing. So unfortunately, his kitchen window faces our side property, and we have done everything we could to make him happy, but it's kind of getting to that line of enough is enough.
It's complete harassment.
Yeah.
And he's talking about value drop on his home.
Yeah,
If
definitely not.
anything,
I just raised it.
I've increased his property. I've dumped over 100,000 miles on that property since I've owned it. That property's never looked what it looks now. If you guys want to bring it up on Facebook, we just spent over 27,000 this past week doing that driveway because he was complaining that my guys were parking on the grass. And they weren't, it was gravel. So I took time and we redid we revamped the whole section of there. Bring it up on Facebook, you guys can see. We pay our taxes on time. We've been in Valley Street for years.
Yes.
But
Born
to
and
be
raised.
harassed by a gentleman like this,
Not right.
it's not right. I mean, it's total harassment between him and his whole family. And I don't want to have to walk on eggshells on my own
No.
property. And we follow the rules.
Yes.
We pull the
I pull
permits
permits for everything.
for everything. Everything he's saying is all a lie. It's all a lie.
Tony, you'll get a chance.
All a
You
lie.
had a
And our
chance, you'll get
trucks,
that chance. You'll
Our
know.
trucks, we got a new dump truck that does have the beep, but my guys do not come between 5 and 9 o'clock. No, they don't.
We leave the property.
No, they don't.
Tony,
The
if I have to have you
latest thing-
removed, Tony, I'll have you removed. Wait your turn.
My guys know, even the whole week that I actually worked for Con Edison as well, I took actually a week of vacation to get
Just
this
to
property,
finish it.
just to finish and not to hear it.
Mhm.
We started exactly 8:04 every morning because I knew he was watching by the window.
Yeah.
So 8:04, I would start every morning. I told my guys, no noise until 8:04. Previously complained about the beeping on my trucks. I went ahead and disconnected both trucks, knowing that if I got pulled
Pull over
over,
by DOT.
it would be a violation, a
Okay,
$500 ticket for me. But I still did it because he was complaining about it, I wanted to make him happy. We just bought a new dump truck, which has a beeping sound on it, but I'm required by DOT to have that on the truck. The village trucks have them, your sanitation trucks, you have, it's code, you have to have it. But I still went ahead and disconnected from him, he's still complaining. And it's not right, it's harassment. I'm at the point that I can't take it no more, I don't know what else to do. But I leave my house at 1:30 in the morning to go, I work for Con Edison as well, I leave at 1:30 in the morning to go to work. I came off the parkway 7 o'clock here to be here because I knew he was here to complain. And
What's gonna happen is, council's gonna review, the documents.
yes,
And if everything, like, for example, a special permit, which was granted, if everything's legal and correct, then you actually would have recourse, for being harassed.
okay,
If there's any problem with the special permit that we issued, we'll correct that, cross that bridge when we come to it.
now, as far as the harassment, what's our next step there? Because I definitely want to press charges, as far as I could take this, and I told them in the
Right, I
beginning.
was just gonna say, so what's gonna happen
Whatever I
is,
have to do.
go ahead, council.
It's a civil matter, not a municipal matter.
I know.
So we really have nothing to do with the back and forth between neighbors, and you are neighbors.
Yeah.
So, but as the mayor said, at this point, I'm just reviewing the protocol that we went through back in December of 2019.
For special permit.
That is correct. And if everything is totally set, I will let everybody notify at the same time what my conclusion was. It's total setting. If it's not, again, I'll alert everybody at the same time. Nobody's going to be first. Everybody's going to hear it at the same time. On the issue of any code violations and things of that nature, I assume that you're pretty much up to speed on what does not constitute a code violation. And as they say, that's really a subject matter for code enforcement. It's not within my purview. Bottom line, any issues with regard to the question of harassment, speak to your own attorney.
Yes, I am gonna get an attorney involved, yes, I will get an attorney about that.
All right, thank you. Any further comments?
No, we're good.
Okay, thank you. So council will get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, first, I just want to say, they're actual liars, right, open.
Tony, I'm not gonna, stop. I'm not gonna play tit for tat here and go, Tony, listen.
You asked,
Tony,
they said
Are you
about
gonna listen to me?
harassment, I did not, you just heard
can we ask
Michael.
Tony to leave, please?
You
You
just
gonna
asked
listen to me?
Michael just
You have to
asked me
leave,
to
Mr.
call
Iglesias.
code enforcement.
Nope.
I haven't called code
I'm
enforcement.
trying to make a sentence. And last time I checked, the mayor and the board were sitting up here. If you're gonna listen to me, fine. If not, I'm gonna ask you to leave.
Right.
You clear on that?
Yeah.
You interrupt me one more time, and we're gonna remove you from the village hall.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, right.
Do you hear what I said?
I heard you.
Okay, I'm gonna be very clear. Council is going to look into the documents. I am not gonna play, he said, she said, I said, they said, he said. I'm not gonna play a neighborly dispute here in the village, board meeting. It's not gonna happen. Council's gonna give us advice, and we're gonna follow council's advice, because quite frankly, that's why we pay him. Once he gives us advice, we are going to follow that advice. And what you two neighbors decide to do is your own business, so long as you are within the purviews of the law of the Incorporated Village of Valley Stream. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Please take a seat. Please take a seat. Please take a seat.
Please, I'll tell you, this is Russia. This is amazing. You're not giving me a chance to answer anything.
There's nothing, we just answered the question.
I just-
Please take a seat.
This is really ridiculous. I didn't call code enforcement, and I was just asked to call code enforcement by your attorney. And I haven't called code enforcement yet.
Okay?
Okay? So he asked me, and they're saying I called code enforcement.
Again, you're starting this tit for tat business,
No, no,
Tony.
but
I-
you heard
If you
what
have
I
a
said.
violation, you can call code enforcement. That's
all I have
that.
to do from now on.
That's that.
But what I'm asking, again, Mayor, from what you asked me in December 2019.
It doesn't stop, does it? Please take a seat. We gave you our answer. There is no more answer. We explained the answer to you.
You're hurting your position, I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I'll wait for you to get back to me.
Thank you.
We gave you an answer. We would never ignore you.
All right.
Further comments from the public? We apologize for the wait, but
And I apologize for coming up earlier.
it's okay.
I didn't know the protocol.
Not a problem at all.
Okay, once again, good evening, Mayor, good evening, all board members. I'm here because I wanted to discuss an issue. There was a letter that I received from the Department of Public Works last week. This letter was placed on the floor. And it says, "Dear resident, as you know, Albert Court is a private property. Effective immediately, the existing rules will be enforced. The Village of Valley Stream is not responsible for snow removal on this road. The curbside garbage and recycling must be left on the corner of Cedar Street and Albert Court for village pickup. Village of Valley Stream vehicles cannot enter Albert Court for municipal services. We appreciate your understanding of this situation, and please call 516-825-8494 with any questions. I've lived in Valley Stream for over 20 years. I like Valley Stream, I love my children. Basically, I have my children there and I raised them. And I had garbage pickup for the past 20 years, and all of a sudden it just ceased. No parents. And no one actually approached us or knocked on our door stating this is the reason. All we got, the owners on our property, all we received is this letter. And another incident that occurred was we received tickets on our property still. After I came here 2 weeks ago, one of my neighbors mentioned the tickets, and you basically stated we are not allowed to receive tickets on our lot. And last week we received more tickets. And right now I don't know, I'm in a dilemma. I don't know what to do because I'm a cancer survivor. I cannot walk from here all the way to the front and drag garbage more than 10 pounds to the corner of Cedar Street. It's not fair.
So one of the things that came up was The tickets were 100% issued in error. As I said, tickets should not be issued, would not be issued. They were issued incorrectly, and they were all, taken back and voided. You should not have received those. That was definitely an error. Code enforcement director and the code enforcement officers had been informed of that. Number two, it kind of boils down to, be careful what you wish for. We had been illegally providing services on Albert Court for years. We are not allowed to enter private property. When you were here, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago or last month, I don't remember, I apologize. We said it's akin to driving a truck on Mr. Tuffarelli's driveway or driving a truck into Mr. Wright's backyard. That's private property. It's not municipal property, and we don't own it. And we explained that, the road would have to be deeded to the village for us to be able to use it. So we had been going on there actually illegally providing services on private property, which by law we're not allowed to do. Now that, I can't put my finger on it, but that probably would have continued forever until multiple people complained that we weren't doing a good enough job providing services that we weren't supposed to be providing in the first place. You follow that? And that's upsetting. And it's a bit of a problem. I mean, we weren't supposed to be going on that property. As a courtesy, we were going on the property, and then residents complained about how the services were being handled on property we weren't supposed to go on. So council said, why the heck are you going on that property in the first place? So we had to follow the law and say, we can no longer go on that property by law because it's private property. And that's the dilemma we ended up with. We talked about snow removal, we talked about deeding the property, and we said that actually when Ella Court was built, there was an agreement originally for the mailboxes to be on Cedar Street and the garbage to be on Cedar Street. And over the years, the village, I know you're not gonna like it, out of the goodness of our hearts, went on private property to pick up your garbage. We've been advised by council that that was a mistake. We should have never been doing that. And if we continue to do so, we'd have to go in everybody's backyard to pick up their garbage. No one would have to put it out on the street anymore, because that's what people have to do. They have to take their garbage and put it on the municipal property in front of their house, and that's where we pick it up from. Go ahead.
First of all, I'm very sorry for what you're going through.
Absolutely.
To me, it seems that, and we have one other private road in the village, don't we?
Two.
Two others, and.
Theodore Court and Ella's not.
They're out.
Yes.
Theodore.
Theodore, I thought there was one more. Or maybe it was deeded to us. Theodore still has not been deeded to us, and Ella still has not been, I'm sorry, Albert has not been
And
deeded.
as I understand it, what the homeowners have done in those instances is they've agreed to retain somebody to move the garbage.
And snow, et
To
cetera.
snow and things of that nature, because if these fellows go out to a private street to do that which they were purportedly doing in the past and have an accident, we don't even have insurance coverage for it. Think about that. Okay? And the law is very clear. It's in the eyes of the law, I hate to say that, it's viewed almost as giving a gift of, right? Oh, yeah, very true. So when I heard the discussion a couple of weeks ago, I said to me, sorry, everybody seems to be delighted, but it's gotta end. You can't do this anymore. And so if anybody's to be blamed, it's me. What I would recommend is that get the neighbors together. I'm sure you can find, maybe we can point you towards some people who would be willing to agree to pick up the refuse. Well, the refuse is going to go to the front.
Right, it's just like the mail, right, and,
Right.
correct.
Right, just getting up to the corner, even if you, I don't know if there are any children, hire the children to bring it up there. But I just cannot endorse, recommend that we want private property.
Part of the shame of it all is too that you were never told that it's a private road when you bought it. It's one of those things, it's crazy that, and a realtor at a closing never informed that it's a private road.
I just surprised.
And you're correct, Mayor, I do have a copy of my deed, and it only says here in the incorporated, my property in the incorporated Village of Valley Stream.
Oh, sure.
So I assume,
No, and for example, I'm sorry, but like my
Yes.
property is in the incorporated village of Valley Stream as well. But the garbage men and the tree trimming crew can't come onto my driveway or my yard. I have to put the refuse on the front, outside of the property, on a municipal spot. And that's the same thing, whereas we can't go on that private property, same thing.
Generally speaking, that property is held in common. I don't do real estate, but I've done it for 34 years. But as a general proposition, it's either being held in common by all of the property owners, or there are easements which have arisen over time as a consequence of the situation. And it's disappointing to find out that at the time you acquired the property, that this issue wasn't brought to your attention. It's not the obligation of the village, regretfully.
We don't have no one.
We don't know this, we find out about these things after the fact as a practical proposition. But it's a very difficult situation, and I think the solution is the neighbors coming together, agreeing to have somebody take care of the things that have to be taken care of.
Co-op.
You can, small not-for-profit, whatever.
Like you have a board of directors, like the condos and whatnot have.
And that's the most common scenario. If you had 20 or 30 property owners, believe it or not, it's actually easier.
4, 5.
It's actually easier. Because then you have a homeowners association and things of that caliber. And the homeowners association says, listen, we own this property in common, the private street.
but thank God we never had
any accidents, right? And
wood.
accidents can occur anywhere,
Yep.
not just my block.
Oh,
not in the
absolutely.
cul-de-sac.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's
But
why
I would recommend you speak to your neighbors, and I assume that they all know now that what has been done in the past is not going to be continued. And then come up with some methodology of, as they say, hiring refuse, snow removal certainly. And just FYI, be careful about your maintenance of the curbs. Do you have curbs on the block? I went down to see it the last time, but
Yeah, no,
later in the day.
Yeah. They're responsible for all that, even if there's a pothole in the middle of the
That's
street.
what I'm trying.
Everybody would have to chip in and fix the pothole.
See, we can't take it unless it's constructed and maintained in accordance with certain standards that are promulgated for municipalities. How wide is the street, by the way? The width? How wide is it? Because they have to be a certain width and things of that nature. It has to be constructed in a certain way, and without that, even if you were to offer the street to the village, I'd have to turn to the mayor and say, you can't do it, because it doesn't, it's not up to spec, unfortunately. And,
But, even informally, a homeowners association where they just get together and say, we're gonna hire this snow removal company, and we're gonna hire these, kids in the neighborhood even to bring the garbage to the front if you're in.
this is what I'm saying, if you've got children,
If I lived nearby, I'd bring it out for you. But I don't.
I'm sorry, I just wish I had something more constructive to offer to you than what we're talking about right now, and I regret that I don't.
Okay, no problem. Thank
Very
you.
nice speaking to
Thank you. Yeah. Further comments from the public? Okay, thank you for coming. Get home safely.